Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed in Washington, D.C. for talks with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. The two leaders are expected to hold talks on tariff cuts, trade, and recent deportation of Indians from the U.S. The Trump administration has complained that India has high tariffs that lock out U.S. imports. Apart from tariff cuts, Modi is expected to propose increased energy and defense imports during his two-day visit. Shortly after landing in Washington, D.C., Prime Minister Modi met with newly appointed Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and this signals the Trump administration's strategic focus on strengthening U.S.-India intelligence ties. Members of Indian diaspora chanted Bharat Mata Ki Jai and chanted his name as Prime Minister Modi arrived at the Blair House, the U.S. President's guest house. The Indian Prime Minister expressed gratitude for the warm reception in the winter chill. Donald Trump is in the fourth week of his presidency, and officials say that this is the earliest in an American president's term that an Indian Prime Minister has visited him. The Prime Minister's visit to the U.S. also comes in the wake of the recent deportation of Indian detainees that has sparked concerns in New Delhi. The two leaders have built a rapport over the years, which was built by back-to-back visits to each other's countries. Now, Modi's trip to the U.S. comes after his visit to France that ended on Wednesday with a visit to the historic Mazargues Cemetery in Marseille City, along with President Macron. At a solemn ceremony held at the site, Modi laid a wreath of tricolor-themed flowers. A large number of Indian soldiers are commemorated in this war cemetery that is maintained by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi and Macron arrived in the southern French city to inaugurate an Indian consulate. It will be India's second diplomatic mission in the European country after the embassy in Paris. Modi and Macron leaders are also visited the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor facilities near Marseille as part of the Indian Prime Minister's visit. Prime Minister Modi also addressed the Franco-Indian Economic Forum in Paris along with Macron. Now, at the business forum, the two leaders pledged to deepen economic cooperation between the two countries, while the French president insisted on the importance of building ties to reduce dependency on the United States and China. The Indian Prime Minister called on French business leaders to invest in his country. Now, during his closing speech, Prime Minister Modi said France and India can together lead a global transformation. In Paris, Prime Minister Modi co-chaired the Artificial Intelligence Summit with Macron. World leaders and tech bosses convened at the Grand Palais on the second and final day of the AI Action Summit, where Prime Minister Modi told attendees that India would be happy to host the next AI Summit. And Macron's office has confirmed that India will be hosting the next International Summit on Artificial Intelligence. And for the latest, our correspondent Susan Tedani sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 36-hour visit to Washington, D.C. is a high-stakes diplomatic engagement, balancing economic imperatives with strategic defense partnerships and geopolitical alignments. Prime Minister Modi may push for the Make in India initiative, leveraging U.S. investment while also easing Washington's concerns over market access. Immigration will also be another talking point between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi. The H-1B visa is critical to India's IT sector and faces uncertainty under Donald Trump's protectionist policies. On the defense front, India and the United States are both expected to deepen their security cooperation, particularly in maritime security, as India advances its technology while also maintaining its historic defense partnership with Russia as well. And while Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is meeting U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday at the White House at a time when U.S.-Indian relationships are in a strong position, Prime Minister Modi may have to balance India's commitment on the one hand, being part of Quad, and its commitments under BRICS on the other, which is engagement with Russia and China. There's going to be a lot to discuss and a lot to cover. We'll bring you all of the latest as it happens. For now, I'm Susan Tehrani, reporting from New York for WION World this Way.